in that meeting, and I told God, I want you to package everything that I've done in preaching. Preaching is not easy. One of the hardest things that anybody can do is preaching. You see the way you have seated down here listening to me? I know majority of you guys here are not my friends. I know. James, mi najua. I know. You come because you love God, and God has directed you to come, and there is something He has given me to deliver to you, and that is all. That is why sometimes if I tell you that this church is about to be closed down and we need to raise some money to pay, it is possible to raise in one day. Let me come one day and tell you my house is about to be closed. It will be closed for some days before you can get one person say, Pastor, this one is yours. You can use it the way you want. So I know preaching is not easy. So I told God, now I have done it. And you have seen I've been faithful, I've trusted you, and I've been able to do everything that you have asked me to do, even when things are extremely tough. And I asked Him, now that work, it may not be much, but I know it can be enough to be paid when I appear in heaven. So package it well. Keep it in a corner, safe. When I appear in heaven, pay me for that work in preaching. But now, take away the preacher's thing. Give it to somebody else. Give me what you give to the normal people, so that I be a normal mushirika, a normal father in my house, so that I can go and vent for my family without feeling like I'm being selfish. And I thought we have agreed. That day I didn't throw tantrums. Before I used to throw tantrums to God. One time I sat down and so many years ago, I sat down under a lemon tree in the little shade I could find, and I cried. I asked God, what is wrong with you? What is the problem? What have I done that you can't allow me to live a normal life? All these problems that are every day, what is it? And I was telling God, you don't use me, and you don't allow me to use myself. Now, what is your problem? And I cried bitterly. And I told God, I wouldn't mind even to die today. I've had enough. I told Him, you can take your spirit. You can let me go. And then, when I was through with crying and talking, a lot of nonsense, so many things that I had to repent. After I was done talking, I was not praying and crying. The Lord spoke very few words. And He said, I'm the one who knows what kind of a metal I am making out of you. And if I try you in the work, and I realize that you are still not yet ready, I will add some more fire. Until you are ready. I tried to pretend I've not heard what God has said, because I didn't want any conversation that seemed to be encouraging me to go in that direction. But He had already spoken. And I knew, okay, so you mean even in this trouble you are still with me? Because my problem was, I thought He left me a long time ago. That's why I'm suffering this way. And so I was daring Him. And when he said, is the one making a particular kind of a metal that is supposed to work. And when he tries me in the work and I'm not yet ready, he will add some more fire. I said, okay. If in the fire we are still with you, it's still okay. Even if it is more than this. But then God had given me a lot of hope so many times. Now, this particular time in 2013, I didn't want to hear any hope. I was saying, God, I want us to agree. I want us to agree. And so I thought we have agreed with God that I'm no longer a preacher. I am going to be now a normal businessman with the grace of God to do business. So that I don't have to come here and try to be nice to you. I just come and appear in the church. I give my offering. The preacher preaches to us. I give my tithe. I go out and make money. And live my life. Immediately, I thought we have actually agreed with God. I'm telling you, I was so sure we have agreed with God. I'm now going back to my business, and I'm going to be a great supporter of God's work. And I will now follow what I wanted to follow in life. I had a lot of dreams in life. So I thought maybe we have agreed. Immediately. I thought we have agreed, and I was ready to go. So I reached out for the ignition key. I had borrowed a car. I didn't have a car. So I reached out to the ignition key. Before I turned it on, God spoke. And he said, it was in July 2017. It was like now. And he said, this coming election is not going to give you a president. And I said, God, we have just agreed. So that voice is the wrong voice. We have just agreed. That one, actually I thought maybe it was one last message that was remaining. And I told God, okay, now you can take it to the people who should hear that and say it. Then God spoke again. The same song was. He said, I've told you this coming election is not going to give you a president. I felt bad. Because God is still speaking to me on things that I don't want. But then at the same time, I felt like, I think I understand him. And I said, you can actually be a businessman who prophesies. Abraham was not a preacher, but he was still a prophet. Daniel was a president, and he is still a prophet. Joseph was a prime minister, and he still prophesied. So I said, okay, no problem. Actually, delivering your voice is okay. The only thing I don't want is to be a preacher. So I can be anything else, lakini ukiongea ndasema. So I picked my small phone, and I said what God has said. And that became like my application for a job. Because that single clip went everywhere in the world. That single clip. From a discouraged preacher, from a discouraged prophet, a man that was not prophesying for people to hear and to respond. It went everywhere. In Africa, in America, in Australia, in Europe. Kila mahali, inchi yote.